If you're looking for the best board games for two people or to play as a couple, you've come to the right place. Today I'm bringing you the 7 best two-player board games that are going to transform your nights at home, and they're all readily available across Europe. Whether you're super competitive and love crushing each other, or you prefer cooperating as an unstoppable team, there's something here for every type of relationship and every play style. All the links are in the video description. Let's get into it. We're starting with Quick Stop. It's like Scattergories, but without paper, without pens, and without those awkward moments waiting for the other person to finish writing. Here's how it works. A category card gets flipped in the center, something like things you find in a bathroom, and you need to shout out a word starting with one of the letters in your hand of cards. First person to yell a valid word and drop their card wins that point. It's pure controlled chaos, and I promise your heart rate will spike. The best part is there are no turns, everyone plays simultaneously, so forget about checking your phone while you wait. Picture this. You're waiting for a pizza to arrive on a Friday night, you pull out Quick Stop, and within 15 minutes you've played 3 rounds between laughs and shouts. That's its superpower, zero setup and instant fun. The only thing to keep in mind is that if one of you is much quicker with words, they might dominate a bit. But honestly, that just leads to brilliant rivalries. Plus, the lightning bolt penalty system adds an extra layer of risk because you don't just want to play cards fast, you want to avoid racking up negative points for dodgy answers. Now then, if what you're after is pure hardcore strategy, 7 Wonders Duel is on a completely different level. This isn't a party game, it's a civilization duel condensed into 30 minutes. Each game, you build an empire from scratch competing for resources, wonders, and military or scientific dominance. The brilliant thing about this game is there are 3 ways to win: by points at the end, by military supremacy if you crush your opponent, or by scientific supremacy if you collect 6 different symbols. This means you can never relax because even if you're ahead on points, your partner can turn it around with a sudden victory. The pyramid card system, where some are face up and others hidden, creates agonizing decisions constantly. Maybe you desperately need stone, but you know that if you take that card, you'll reveal exactly what your rival needs to destroy you. It's genuinely addictive, one of those games where you finish a round and say, go on one more even though it's midnight. Compared to Quick Stop, there's no speed here, just pure planning and reading your opponent. Setting up the card pyramid takes a couple of minutes, but it's worth it. And if you really get hooked, there are expansions like Pantheon and Agora that add gods and politics for when you've mastered the base game. It's one of those games that grows with you. For those who prefer rowing together instead of competing, SkyTeam is probably the best 2-player cooperative game that exists right now. You become pilot and co-pilot of a commercial aircraft trying to land at airports around the world under increasingly tricky conditions. And here's the genius part. Once you roll your dice, you cannot speak. None of this, oh, I've got a 6, so put down a 2. You have to intuit what the other person needs based on where they place their first die. It's telepathic couple communication taken to the extreme. Each game lasts about 20 minutes and the emotional arc is incredible, building tension until that final moment where you land by the skin of your teeth or crash the plane 100 meters from the runway. Let me paint you a typical scene. You've had 15 minutes of perfect play, everything's clicking, and suddenly in the last round the dice don't cooperate and you have to improvise with coffee tokens to save the landing. That shared adrenaline creates moments you won't forget. Unlike other cooperative games where the expert player can direct everything, here it's impossible because you don't know what dice your partner has. Pure trust. The game includes a scenario booklet with different airports like Montreal or Tokyo that gradually introduce new mechanics like wind, ice, or fuel leaks. So even when you've mastered the first landings, there's always a new challenge waiting. Changing register completely, Served Couples isn't a traditional board game but a card game for real life. You deal the cards between the two of you and play them over weeks in everyday situations. You've got the designated driver card that forces the other person not to drink that night, the food envy card that lets you swap plates at a restaurant if theirs looks better, or the get out of a minor telling off card. It's gamifying living together with loads of humor. It works brilliantly for couples who've been together a while and need to break the routine with something unexpected. Mind you, it requires both of you to have compatible senses of humor, because if you play the shut up card while your partner is venting about a horrible day at work, it might not land well. My advice is to establish game-free zones like working hours or serious moments. With those rules clear, it's fantastic. Intimacy Deck goes down a completely different path. It's a conversation game designed to rediscover your partner. The cards are organized by levels from flirting to intimate passing through love, with questions ranging from what's your favorite memory from our first year to what fear have you never confessed to me. There are no points or winners, just guided conversation towards places you don't normally go. It's perfect for dinners at home as an alternative to eating while staring at your phones or the telly. It even includes a QR code with a playlist to set the mood. Compared to Served, which is action and humor, Intimacy Deck is deep emotional connection. The only downside is that once you've answered the questions, it doesn't have replay value with the same partner, though many people pass it on to friends afterwards. For new couples who want to get to know each other quickly, or for those who've been together years and feel they've stagnated, it's pure gold. Patchwork looks like the calmest game on the list with its aesthetic of making quilts from patches, but don't be fooled. It's competitive Tetris with economy, and the decisions are incredibly tight. Each piece has a cost in buttons, which is the game's currency, and in time. The player who's furthest behind on the time track is the one who plays, so if you take cheap pieces, you can chain several turns in a row while your rival watches helplessly. And here's the nastiness. Sometimes you buy a piece not because you need it, but because you know it fits perfectly in the gap your partner has. Pure blocking wrapped in checked fabric. It's ideal for quiet Sunday mornings with coffee, no need to talk much, each person focused on their board but very aware of the other. If you like puzzles and optimizing spaces, this is your game. Just note that in your first few games, it's normal to end up with negative points because each empty space costs you 2 points, but that just makes you want to improve and master the system. We're closing with Jaipur, the classic among classics for two-player trading. You're a merchant in India buying and selling diamonds, gold, spices, and fabrics. The goal is to sell sets of goods, but the scoring tokens are stacked in decreasing order, so the first person to sell 3 diamonds gets 20 points, while the second only gets 12. This creates constant races deciding whether to sell your 3 cards now or wait to collect 5 for the big bonus, risking the other person snatching the good tokens. Games last 15 minutes and the loser always demands an immediate rematch. It's mathematically addictive. Compared to Patchwork, which is spatial and quiet, Jaipur is numbers and timing with much more direct interaction. It fits in any bag and you can play it on a tiny cafe table, no problem. A perfect scenario: you're on a coffee shop terrace waiting for friends who are running late, you pull out Jaipur, and before you know it, you've played 4 games and time has flown. That's its charm. There's always room for one more. To summarize so you know which one to choose, if you want quick laughs without complications, Quick Stop. If you're into deep strategy and epic duels, 7 Wonders Duel. If you prefer cooperating and experiencing shared tension, Sky Team. To break the routine with humor, Served. To connect emotionally and know each other better, Intimacy Deck. For relaxed but competitive puzzles, Patchwork. And for quick trading games with bluffing, Jaipur. Remember, all the links are in the description. If this video helped you, give it a like and subscribe for more content like this. See you in the next one.